Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing great. Yep.
Hey, just general thoughts on how things went
Yep.
on Saturday night. Obviously, slow start, but
Yep.
it seemed like things got turned around second half a little bit.
Now it was disappointing Saturday night in Gainesville on all parts. Just being honest with you, just the way things didn't start well. There was nothing really positive that we really got from the game except the fact that we fought and we didn't. The game could have really got farther out of hand than what it did. So that's the only credit we can kind of account for really. But unacceptable, disappointing loss. But we're ready to move on and have an opportunity to improve and get better.
When you kind of look ahead to Saturday, Tennessee's tempo, I know you faced it last year. Is there anything like that in college football, and how do you kind of go about planning for that as coaches?
Well, I don't think there's anything like that in college football. It's a couple of teams that can kind of go that speed, and some teams can do it at the beginning of a game or certain moments. But Tennessee, to me, is a team that's what they do. And the way you practice it is you have to have a full commitment from the football team, meaning that the offense have to give you some looks, and our scout team guys have to give us some looks. And also the head coach has to agree on it, but that's the only way that you can practice that kind of tempo and get yourselves somewhat ready for that pace.
We asked about it after the Vanderbilt game, but what's been the biggest deficiency in the run game? And from a schematic standpoint, is there anything you can do at this point to clean that up?
Yes, we're grinding at it and trying our best, but obviously like last week that was absolutely, not it. And obviously tackling and fitting your gaps and being airtight on your fits and understanding, what we practice is not what you're going to get in the games. So we got to do a better job of just trying our best to prepare our players for what may come. This is what's on tape, but this might be something new you may see. So that's, that starts with me as a defensive coordinator. I have to just continue harping on it and understand it. Over a long period of time, these kids will get it and everybody will get it and it'll click. Just ready for it.
You guys had a much better second half at Florida.
Yep.
Was there any major adjustment you made at halftime? Was it just things starting to click? And how do you kind of translate what happened in that second half now to a better start?
The first thing is you have to go look the guys in the face and be a man about it and say, here's what's going on, here's what happened, here's a couple of things that we can do. You can't change 7, 8, 9 things, but here's what we did good. Obviously every play was not a touchdown, so there were some good things that you did. There were some negative plays that you made, and we trying to make sure we understand those. And the plays that hurt us, get those fixed. If it was a schematic thing, get that fixed. If it was an adjustment, get it fixed. But the first thing is you have to look them in their eyes like man and say, listen, we're better than that. Let's move on. Here's what we got to get done. Let's have some pride about it, and let's go finish this half. So there are some adjustments, but the first thing is to look them in the eyes.
On the long touchdown run they popped in the first half, was there, I guess, misfit?
Yeah.
Just good call against what you had called. What went wrong on that one?
It was a couple mistakes, and at this level, you make 2 mistakes against talented football teams. You're gonna be chasing a guy that long, but that far. I'm not big into pointing people out who made the mistake, not in the media, but those are things that we handle right here, and we get it fixed. And it's a team defense, but it was definitely a couple of things that could have been better. But it was definitely it was a nice scheme versus a certain call. We just made a couple mistakes in that play, and probably should have called another play. But that's the life we chose. We chose this life, so could have done something else.
Clayton, obviously the first half doesn't go the way you guys wanted to, but you guys have been really good in the second half of games, at least as far as making adjustments and sort of adjusting to what teams are doing. What is it about, whether it's you, this staff, this team, that you guys have been able to do that and play so much better or adjust to what defense or offenses are doing in the second half?
To me, I think one of the main things that goes with that is the guys kind of have a feel for what's going on. It's that, and also we do make adjustments. We also talk about things. We just don't, go in the locker room and draw up brand new defenses or sit in the corner and cry for 20 minutes. But we actually talk about things, get things worked out. And I think our players have a feel for what plays they're about to see coming out in the second half. It's a lot of those combinations. But, I don't pull out this magic book and say, let's switch everything up and all of a sudden. But it's a collective thing. It's not just one thing. So I think our guys do understand. And Coach Beamer makes sure we go out there and play with great effort in the second half so we're not – we want to finish and have pride about the way we play.
With Tennessee's tempo, how hard is it just to even call a play at times when they're moving so fast on you guys?
It's hard because they already know their play. There's times where you have to kind of as a defense put in 2 plays and be ready. The next play is this, and so it's difficult. I mean, you have to be on really sharp because you don't know which hash the ball's going to end up on, and they're already going to be there, and our players have to run over there and look, and it can be difficult, but you got to find ways to get it in fast. There's no excuses. You know, this is it. So I mean, you can't say stop, give us time, but we we're definitely practicing that, and our guys are kind of used to it. It's the second year going against Tennessee, so they remember how fast it was.
With some of your seniors who are going to be playing their last game here, and you've been with those guys for a couple years now. So what's sort of, I guess, your impressions of guys like Sherrod and Brad and I guess Zach who've been pretty big time contributors for you?
Trying to get me like to cry or something, man. Nah, but when I first took this job here, obviously it was a transition for those guys to kind of trust me. It's all about trust, and so I kind of connected with all the guys first, just from man to man, just understand that they can get my background and their background. That's the first thing that I care about, just the player itself. But I'm proud of how those guys have battled through this transition. It's not easy to go through a transition you're late in your career. I had a transition my 5th year at NC State, so it takes a lot of trust. And so I kind of leaned back on that, messing with, dealing with Brads and the Sherrods and the older guys, that it's about trust. If the coach trusts you, he knows that you care for him as a person first. I mean, they'll do whatever for you. So that's the first thing I did. But I'm proud to see Sherrod, able to make it to a senior day. So that's kind of what I'm more proud about with him, because obviously his past couple of years have been kind of tough. But that was the first goal I told him this summer is I want to see you go all the way through this thing, and we pretty much there right now.
Birch and Pickens were in here yesterday saying that from a defensive standpoint, they need to create some negative plays, create some disruptive plays against this Tennessee offense. Is that easier said than done? And how do you go about trying to kind of get them off schedule?
Well, and it's definitely, it sounds good. It's a good offense that kind of gets a lot of positive plays. And, I think we had some negative plays against them last year. We just have to, right timing, right stunt, right move, right blitz, right shed at the right time. We can create negative plays. There's multiple ways, but we definitely want to do that to get them behind the chains, and that's every offense you play. So it's not just Tennessee, but you definitely want to be one of the things that we can improve on.
We get this far without the Jalen Hyatt question, but what's the challenge that he presents, and kind of how do you go about stopping a guy like Hyatt?
Yeah, he's having a heck of a year. He's a good player. Every team is focused on him that played against him, make sure he's trying to stay in check. He's had his way. We want to do a great job knowing that he's going to make catches. Our job is to, try to prevent the big plays for touchdowns and understand that good players are going to make plays, but we want to make sure we challenge and compete. And then when it's our turn to make a play, let's make a play also to have a major outcome on the football game.
What is your favorite Pete Limbo story?
Oh, my God. Well, me and Pete live in the same neighborhood, first of all. So favorite Pete Limbo story? God. Well, I don't really have one. I mean, he's a good dude. We're locker mates, you know what I mean? So he's told me some good stories. I can't think of a favorite Pete Limbo story right now. Can't think of one. You got me on that one. I didn't want to make up nothing, man.
Does he have a nickname for you though?
For
Because
me,
he's got him for players.
He just called me Clayton. I call him Petey. That's it. So that's all I got, man. That's funny. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yep.